Your neighbor, Mrs. Alcott, knocks on your door on a Tuesday evening. She's going to visit her sister in Tucson for 2 weeks. Could you water her plants? She has 14 of them scattered throughout the house. She'll leave a key under the mat. Just pop in every other day. Give each plant a cup of water. Lock up when you leave. Easy. You say yes. Of course you say yes. She brought you soup when you had the flu. She watches your cat when you travel. You owe her this small thing. The house is 14 Bale Street. A narrow Victorian, painted grey, with a porch that sags slightly on the left side. You've walked past it 1,000 times. You've never been inside. The key is where she said it would be. You let yourself in on Wednesday morning. The house smells like soil and lavender and something underneath, something sweet and wrong, like fruit that's gone past ripe and is starting to ferment. You tell yourself it's the plants. 14 plants will do that to a closed-up house. You find them easily enough. She's left notes taped to each pot. Fern, east window, 1 cup. Succulent, kitchen counter, ½ cup, every 3rd visit. The tall one in the hallway. Be careful, it drips. You water the fern. You water the succulent. You approach the tall one in the hallway. A fiddle-leaf fig, you think, though it's taller than any fiddle leaf you've ever seen. Its leaves broad and dark and slightly waxy, like they've been polished. You give it a cup of water. A single drop falls from one of the upper leaves and lands on your wrist. It's warm, warmer than it should be. You lock up. You leave. You go about your day. Friday morning, 2nd visit. You let yourself in. The house smells the same. Soil, lavender, and that sweet ferment underneath. You water the fern, the succulent. You approach the tall one in the hallway. Its leaves are facing a different direction. You're sure of it. On Wednesday, the leaves pointed toward the front door. Today, they point toward the back of the house, toward the hallway that leads to the bedrooms. You tell yourself, plants move. Phototropism. They follow the light. The sun has shifted. It's nothing. You give it a cup of water. You lock up. You leave. Monday morning, 3rd visit. You let yourself in. The soil in every pot is already wet. You check each one. The fern, water beads on the soil surface, like someone poured a cup 5 minutes ago. The succulent. Same. No one has been here. You have the only key. Mrs. Alcott is in Tucson. You stand in the hallway and you look at the tall plant and you notice something you didn't notice before. There's a mark on the wall behind it. A dark line running from floor to ceiling, following the curve of the plant's shadow. But it's not a shadow. It's too dark, too defined. And when you step closer, you see that it's not a mark on the wall. It's a crack. Not a structural crack. Not the kind that comes from settling or foundation issues. This crack is smooth. Its edges are rounded, like they've been sanded. And when you press your ear to it, you hear something. breathing. Not air moving through a gap. Not the house settling. Breathing. Slow. Rhythmic. In and out. In and out. The way a sleeping person breathes. You pull back. Your heart is loud. You look at the tall plant. Its leaves have shifted again. They're facing you now. Every single leaf. Like 14 dark eyes turned in your direction. Watching. You leave. You lock the door. You don't go back on Wednesday. Thursday, Mrs. Alcott calls from Tucson. "How are my plants?" she asks. Her voice is warm. Normal. You tell her they're fine. You don't mention the wet soil. You don't mention the crack. You don't mention the breathing. "That's good," she says. "They like you. They told me." She laughs. "It's a joke. Obviously it's a joke." You laugh too. "I'll be back on Saturday," she says. "One more visit should do it. Friday morning, maybe? Give them a good last watering." You agree. You hang up. You stare at your phone for a long time. Friday morning. You go back. You tell yourself it's the last time. You'll water the plants, return the key, and this will be over. The house smells different. The lavender is gone. The soil is gone. Only the sweet, fermented scent remains. It's stronger. Much stronger. It fills the hallway. It fills your lungs. You approach the tall plant. The crack in the wall is wider. You can see inside now. Not darkness. Something else. A texture. Like bark. Like the inside of a tree that's been growing in the wall for decades. The plant's leaves are trembling. Not from a draft. Not from vibration. They're trembling the way a person trembles when they're trying not to cry. You give it a cup of water. Your hand shakes. The water misses the pot and hits the floor. The wood absorbs it instantly. The crack in the wall widens by a fraction of an inch. You hear the breathing again. But this time, it's not behind the wall. It's above you. You look up. The ceiling is covered in vines. Dark, thin, hair-like vines that weren't there on your last visit. They're growing from the edges of the room toward the center. Toward you. You run. You don't water the other plants. You don't lock the door. You run. You make it home. You sit in your kitchen. You drink a glass of water with both hands because your hands won't stop shaking. You tell yourself you're being ridiculous. It's a plant. It's a crack in an old wall. Vines grow. How is Cecilia? You're fine. Mrs. Alcott comes home on Saturday. She brings you a box of chocolates from Tucson. She thanks you for watering her plants. She says they look wonderful. She says they've never looked better. You take the chocolates. You smile. You don't go back to 14 Bale Street. But that night, Saturday night, you hear something. A sound. Coming from outside your bedroom window. You pull back the curtain. On the other side of the glass, pressed flat against the window pane, is a leaf. Dark, broad, slightly waxy, like it's been polished. In the morning, there are more. They've climbed the side of your house. They're covering the east wall, the side that faces 14 Bale Street. By noon, they've reached the roof. You call Mrs. Alcott. No answer. You walk to 14 Bale Street. The house is dark. The door is locked. You peer through the front window. The hallway is full of plants. Not 14, hundreds. They're growing from the walls, the floor, the ceiling. They're growing from the crack, which is now wide enough to step through. And standing in the middle of all that growth, perfectly still, is Mrs. Alcott. She's smiling. Her skin has a greenish tint. Her fingers are long, longer than you remember. The tips of her fingers are dark, like the ends of roots that have been sitting in water. She sees you. She waves. Her hand moves slowly, the way a branch moves in a gentle wind. You back away from the window. You walk home. The vines on your house have reached your front door. One of them is curled around the doorknob. You go inside. You close the door. You sit on the floor of your hallway, and you wait. By evening, the vines have come inside. They're growing along the baseboards. They're climbing the walls. One of them, the thinnest, the most delicate, has reached your ankle. It wraps around it gently. Not tight, not threatening. The way a hand holds another hand when it's been alone for a very long time. You could pull away. You know you could. The vine is thin. It would break. You don't pull away. The sweet smell fills your house now. It's not unpleasant. It's the smell of something alive. Something that has been waiting in a wall, in a crack, in the dark space behind the plaster for decades. Waiting for someone to come inside. Waiting for someone to stay. You hear the breathing again, but this time, it's not the house. It's you. Your lungs feel full, fuller than they should, like something is growing inside them, something green and patient and ancient. And it's breathing with you, matching your rhythm, taking what it needs and giving back something you didn't know you were missing. You close your eyes. The vines reach your shoulders. They're warm. They're gentle. They're holding you the way the earth holds a seed. You think of Mrs. Alcott standing in her hallway, surrounded by all that green. You think of the smile on her face. Not manic, not afraid, peaceful. The smile of someone who has finally become what they were always becoming. The vine tightens just slightly around your wrist. Not a grip, a pulse. like a heartbeat. You realize you're smiling too. This story is unresolved. This story may be the beginning of something that doesn't have an end. If you live on Bale Street, check your walls. Check your soil. Check the space behind the plaster where the breathing comes from. And if someone asks you to water their plants, say yes. You might be the next one they've been waiting for. End of file.